Zimbabwe shall be called Great Zimbabwe. Uyu ndiwo yumupendero wenguva. Zimbabwe shall be called Great Zimbabwe. Ayaya, sungairo yasishinopera. Sungairo yasishinopera. Great Zimbabwe, that I want. Great Zimbabwe.
Good morning, good afternoon, Zimbabwe. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you for being here. We are live on Change Radio, YouTube, Change Radio, the radio itself, Change Radio, Facebook, and we are also live here on ZimI, YouTube, ZimI, Facebook. Thank you. We appreciate you once again for joining. This is your program, Candidate Selection Watch. Where we are going around the country. We had people that were around the country, around Zimbabwe, watching, seeing what was going on, and we'll be giving you those reports live from different parts of the country. Triple C today held their candidate selection process, and what a program. What a peaceful program we had today. I know there are a few issues here and there that Zanu Pf actually is trying to capitalize on. We'll give you all that in the program, and we'll also talk about, of course, the mixed bag of events today, where we saw champion advocate Mahere being convicted today, and we have said it very simply on the poster that we are circulating, that advocate Mahere convicted by Zanu Pf, because that can only be done by Zanu Pf. What happened today can only be done by Zanu Pf, not by any normal court. We'll talk about that a little later, but now let me bring in my partner in crime, Barbara. How did you see this whole program today?
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Chief. How are you? How is America today? Linjani mthwakazi omuhle, lingabe lichona njani, lavuka njani emagumbini amanomhlaba lapha elingabe likhona. Sithe sizoliphakulela. I know abanengi belilendele isikhathi lesi ukuthi lizwe ukuthi kuhambe njani lapho kade kulama nominations ama candidates awe councilini lawa eParliament kubandla LCCC. Singakhohlwa njalo phela ukuthi bekunominatwa lo muntu ozakuba yi-candidate ka-president ozakuba umongameli owe-CCC lo mongameli owe-Zimbabwe. Sizalinika konke ngokugcwele ukuthi kuhambe njani. Ngiyethemba lonke belisazi ukuthi khona iZanu Pf ivele ibingafuni ukuthi iCCC yenze lokho abakwenzileyo. Bebefisa ukuthi ngabayenze ama-primaries ukwenza ukuthi babe sebefaka abantu babo kumbe bebe sebedisrupta kumbe batsho ukuthi i-CCC i-violent, kodwa i-process leyi ibingeyama-citizens, ibingeyabantu. Abantu bebekhetha kumbe bebeqamba abantu abafisa ukuthi bebamele ekhansilini lasepalamende. Sibona ukuthi endaweni ezinengi kuhambe kuhle, uhlelo lelo luhambe kuhle, abantu abanengi bebethabile besithi kuhambe kuhle. Sithemba ukuthi njengoba bekuyinto eyokuqala, nxa sokuzaphindwa futhi kumbe singathi nge-election elandelayo, sibona ukuthi abantu babe sebekwazi ukuthi kuyini okufunakalayo, kumele bayenzeni. And sikhulume labantu abanengi batsho ukuthi khona i-process leyi ipromotha ukubambana, ipromotha ukuthula, ngoba ubuphonga ukufika abantu beqamba ukuthi thina kuwadi enje sicabangela ukuthi uzibani lozibani lozibani bengasimela ekhansilini, kumbe besicabanga ukuthi ku-constituency leyi uzibani angasimela epalamende. Into ejabulisayo chief engiyibonileyo yikuthi i-process leyi iyenze ukuthi kube labomama abanengi kakhulu abafisa ukuthi bathathe izikhundla, ngenxa yokuthi ama-primaries sijayele ukuwabona esiba le-violence. Omama abanengi abajayelanga ukungena kuma-primaries ngoba angenwa ngabantu abalemali abakwanisa ukuthenga abantu. So ku-process leyi chief azange sibone abantu abathengwayo. Bebekhona abanye ade bethenga ama-stakeholders ukuthi bebuye, abanye kuthiwa bethenga abantu beZanu chief. Sizakhuluma ngakho kulokhu ukuthi lapho kube khona lobudlwangudlwangu, ngabantu ade bethenga abantu beZanu ukuthi bebavotele, okuyinto embi, okuyinto esolekayo kakhulu, esingayikhuthaziyo thina ku-CCC. I-CCC ibandla lama-citizens, i-CCC aba-citizens yiwo akhetha inkokheli zawo. Sithe khona kulo mnyaka kasifuni bantu abaza-imphozwa njengeminyakeni, abantu bathi sizasikhethela thina abakhokheli bethu. Over to you, Chief.
Wow, thank you, Barbara, for that overview. And yes, indeed, I totally agree with you. The program was overly successful, overly peaceful everywhere, and I must say, this is it's the first time that we have heard to do our candidate selection this way, and obviously there were bound to be a few issues, and we warned people that there is no process that you do that will not have hiccups. We received those hiccups. We received news of those few issues that happened. I know in Highfield they ran out of forms. Those are logistical issues that happen once in a while, and they had to go back and get the forms, so the process was not completed. Obviously it will be completed in Mabuku. It was almost the same thing, but generally we had a very peaceful process, as you are going to hear and see from some of the videos and reports that you have. You can go ahead and play the first video, and then we'll move on. But I'm happy about what happened today. Zimbabweans went, Zimbabweans came out, citizens came out in large numbers and elected or selected or nominated leaders of their choice. My leaders are avanogara navo muma streets, because they were street point people, remember, and they were village point people. Vanhu vemumusha vachisarudza munhu wavo wavanoda, wavanoenda naye kuhuni, anogara navo, kwete anoita zvekuuya mavari, anoita zvekushanya kwaari. Vanhu vanga vachisarudza munhu, mwana, vana vemumamisha imomo. This was really good. We can play the first video.
Ini ndiri kunzwa kufara. Muna election yedu yataita ende aitwa zvakanaka, hapana kubirira, hapana kupokana. Saka ini ndiri kunyasonzwa kufara, ndofunga muri kutombozoona ndichifara, ndakabatira bhutsu maoko nokuti ndafara. Zvinhu zvedu zvepanogara. Saka ndiri kunzwa kufara. Chete, chamina chete. Ngapinde mukomana, ngapinde. Ini ndiri kunzwa kufara.
You can see here citizens happy. That's in Mahere, who also hear from champion Ostalos, who played that video after Barbara has commented on the happy people. I know those who support soccer, you will remember her Orlando Pirates used to go with the name Happy People. So the citizens, we can call them happy people as well. Testimony of the process in some of the areas, people testifying that this was a very good process. Barbara, what do you say about people just coming out, expressing their feelings?
Yes, like I said before, Chief Kuti, this process it was very, very friendly. As you can see, women felt very, very free and comfortable. In the past, the primaries, they were tense, Chief, and most women were scared to participate because it was dominated by men. Women were not free, but this process was free for everyone. If you what you only needed on this process was to mobilize people that were going to nominate you, or maybe to maybe people would then choose you, or maybe to say if people say they want you, then you are covered, so you get a nomination. Like I said, we saw a lot of women being into this process. A lot of women were part of the process, and that's why we are seeing even women were happy to say the process zvafamba zvakanaka. You know what, Chief? I remember the late Richard Morgan Shangirai, when there were problems in Bulawayo. Bulawayo used to have problems. The people, they used to be tribal problems. And I remember when the late came to address the problem, he came down and said, he wanted to hear from the horse's mouth. He wanted to hear from the people. He didn't want to listen to leadership, but he said he wanted to hear from the people on the ground. So when he started, he said, I want to hear from women. Because I know vakadzi havanyepi. That's what he said. They will tell me the truth. So the first people who explained what had transpired were women, and they were telling as it was, and he was very happy because he got the information. So when you see women happy, it means the process yafamba zvakanaka.
You can also play that audio. I think you have an audio from Matabeleland.
Yes, I have an audio from Bulawayo. We gathered when we were gathering information about how the process went. We got this audio from Bulawayo. I don't know whether it's audible.
A process I can just say to those who are genuinely for the struggle, who are not self-centered or who are not there for stomach politics, it went on very well and very smooth because there was no need for disruption because everything was transparent and straightforward to the point. So I'm really shocked. Disruption. How can be there a disruption? How? And how, honestly, how? Because it was only about getting your form and writing your preferred candidate. So, ndiyalwa njani, ndivumelana libhale ephepheni. So only job seekers can cause commotion and disruption. But those who are for change, can you imagine, Tina? Besi wanda was bala. And who was what he lava boy through one came from my MPs Bulawayo South. But bebe balana. Aba contestana ya omi mpadi empadi. E bala luana uda ufunayo. Ngero nominate. Ngero nominate. So you are going to those are people who are genuine for change. But I'm job seekers. They wouldn't admit egu contest. So honestly, there was no need to fight actually. It process, it actually promotes a peace unit within the organization, within the party. So Ebulawayo basically, to me, it was very, very good.
Wow. You see, we don't lie here. We don't make up stuff here. We come, we tell you the truth, and we provide you the evidence. That's an ordinary member in the party. She's not even a leader. She's not even contesting. She's just testifying what was going on in Bulawayo. We have many audios, so don't go away. We are going to show you what was happening throughout the country in this process. But please do press the share button so that as many people can come and hear the good news. Another video.
Hakuna inozoitwa asi ndimi unosaidza munhu wamukura daita vanenge vabiri nezuvu navachamira president.
That's a wrong video there. We apologize for that. But we're going to play you an audio from Chinoi where the process is said to have went on well. I have a very big interest in Chinoi. I lived in Chinoi for the longest time. So I was very interested in hearing how the process had gone. And it did go well. And, you'll be shocked. We're not announcing results here. But the sitting MP, got in a little bit of trouble in terms of nominations. But maybe you pull through. I do not know. But we had there was a peaceful process in Chinoi. And I did not hear anything in terms of violence, in terms of anything negative. But we did get information that Zanu Pf, CIOs, and Mahere, they were there where our processes were being done. And they are the ones that have been, taking pictures and videos of, the minor issues that you see, happening everywhere, anyway, at any process, Cheromumuri, Zuneitika. So they were, pouncing on that. That's FAZ, F-A-Z, Ferret, Vangavari Kukuchinoi. We hear from one of the guys here whom I spoke to, and they are actually announcing results. The Ferrets, Zanu Pf CIOs, are actually announcing some of the results from this process. And these results are not supposed to be announced. They're not supposed to be out there on social media because the process just started today, but it's not done yet. Remember, these people who got nominations today, they still have to go through a vetting process. The independent commission will still have to sift through them and see who they are, where they came from, what they've done for the party, what they've been doing all this time, loyout, in terms of loyout, in terms of service and sacrifice. All those issues will now be handled by the independent commission. So really, we don't expect to see any results. If you see any result of anything of our process today, it's not coming from a Triple C member. It's coming from Zanu Pf CIOs, because they were there where our process was being done. The ferrets were there and taking notes, taking pictures, taking videos, and even writing numbers of nominations that our candidates were getting. So Be aware of that, folks. Let's not be used, because it's being used by Zanu Pf propagandists. They get information, bad information about the process, and they feed it into you. And because you don't have the correct information, you end up, consuming wrong information, and some may even end up believing that this process was chaotic. There was nothing. It was not chaotic. It's Zanu PF just trying to come up with issues in an otherwise very good process. Let's hear from Chinoi.
Inchinoi process yafamba zvakanakisa zvikuru zvekuti vanhu vese vari kufara. Hapana kuitika mhirizhonga, zvinhu zvekuti donzvo rapurezidendi vedu chamisa vakaona remugwazo rasimbaradzwa zvikuru, nekuti vanhu vabuda neuwandu hwavo, vanhu macitizens afara kuti apiwa mukana wekusarudza vanhu vavanoda, ekusarudza manominees avanoda kuti arepresente kuparliament, presidential nekucouncil nekumasenatorials nekwese kumapr every inenge position. Vanhu vanga vachifarira chirongwa ichi nekuti vaona vachipiwa mukana usiku kuZanu PF wekuti vanhu vanombunyikidzwa vachinzi vanosarudza munhu ari kuda. Saka vanhu vemacitizens afara zvikuru, nekuti vese vatange tichiona vanga vachiratidza kufara kuti vapiwa mukana hanzi usiku kuZanu PF. Izvi vainga vachizvitora sezvinhu zvisina kumbobvira zvaitwa muZimbabwe, zvekuti vanhu vari kudiwa nevanhu ndivo vanoendeswa kumberi, vanhu vari kudiwa nevanhu ndivo vanoita vanosarudzwa, kuti vanhu vanofanirwa kubva kuvanhu, kwete vanhu vanobva kuti vauye vazoiti isusu tikuda. Pane zvimwe taona chizaruriko chekuti vanhu vanosarudzwa nekuda kwemabasa avo, nekuda kwekuti zvavanoita in the community, kuti mabatsiro anoita vanhu nekuzvavanoitira vanhu. Zvinhu izvozvo zvaita kuti vanhu vasarudze munhu wavanoda zvisina kumbunyikidzwa, zvisina kutyisidzirwa, zvisina kuita sei. Saka zvinhu zvaratidza kuti
Is it playing? Barbara, you can go ahead. I wasn't hearing anything.
Vari kufara the process. In fact, Makonde cluster yese yange ichiratidza kuti vari kufara. Mariposi atiri kuwana ari kuratidza kuti zvinhu pasina mhirizhonga, pasina kupikisana, pasina kupokana. Vanhu vanga vachingofara nekuti this is a beginning.
Guys, just give me a thumbs up if you're hearing the audio playing. Barbara, did you hear the audio?
Nezvabuda izvi tikanazobatana, tikanazoshinga, Zanu PF haina kana mukana. Zanu PF iri kutovhunduka nekutoti haina kana mukana wekuti ingamire netriple C. Saka zvinhu zvekuti izvi zvinobudisa maquality leaders, maquality leaders anoshanda nevanhu, anobva kuvanhu, kwete anoda
Yes, Chief, the audio was very, very clear and audible, and he was just describing how the process went, and he's saying the process went on very, very, very well. So these are the V11s. It's not us we saying that, but it's the people that are saying that. Yeah, and what I can safely say, Chief, is, remember when CCC was formed, the president constantly said wherever he was going around the country, he was saying kuti hatisi kuda munhu anoda, tiri kuda munhu anodiwa nevanhu. So this is where the problem is. There are a lot of people vanga vachida but vasingadiwi nevanhu. We will hear my reports of those people vachicomplain. I heard umwe munhu achiti hanzi toda maprimary, we don't want this is dictatorship. And then I said to myself, do these people know what dictatorship is? What is dictatorship? When people choose their leaders, is that dictatorship? When people are left to choose whom they want. Problem yataita kudhara ndeyekuti vanhu vanoda vaya waitenga mavhotsi, waikonzeresa a lot of things, maballot boxes achitizwa nawo achiitwa izvozvi dai so tatonzwa kunzi kwambotizwa neballot box, but we didn't hear all those things. People were generally happy, Chief.
Yes, and we have put the link there. If you want to join, I'm seeing Advocate Mahere. We are about to talk about Champion Mahere's case. If Advocate Mahere, you can jump on the link, just press the link, and you get right into the studio. We will really appreciate if you have a few minutes. I know you're a very busy man, but yes, the process generally, as you heard from the champion in Chinoi, were peaceful, and generally people are happy with the process. Let's hear from Champion Ostalos in Mbare, where she addressed some party members, champions that had come for the nominations, and he did give an overview of what was going on there. So it was really good in Mbare.
Thank you very much. We've just arrived in Mahere to witness the candidate selection nomination process that is going on ahead. As you can see, different citizens from this part of Mahere have been accredited to get into our process and nominate who they prefer in terms of council, who they prefer in terms of parliament, and of course who they prefer in terms of our presidential candidate. The process, as you saw from inside, is being conducted by an independent panel of experts that has been appointed to conduct this process. It's tranquil, citizens are happy, they are making a choice. One of the things that we have done is putting citizens back at the center. We do this so that citizens are able to reflect their will in terms of who should lead this area as a councillor, who should lead this area as a member of parliament, and of course, who should represent Mahere as a presidential candidate. So every citizen has been given an opportunity to make a choice in terms of the people they prefer, because this is the nature of our citizens process. We want to thank every citizen. They are doing the same across the entire part of the country, and citizens are happy, as you can see. They're excited, they're going to be making a choice. After here, they're going to go for vetting, those who are nominated. From vetting process, they're obviously going to continue to go for validation, where we'll come back to these people and hear their views in terms of who they prefer from those that would have been nominated, after which we're going to produce a final candidate list and have the official. Thank you very much. We've just arrived in Mahere to
nhasi bato recitizens coalition for change CCC ranga rine urongwa hwaro hwekusarudza vamiririri vavo avo vachaenda kuparliament nevachaendawo kumakanzol, uye avo vachazomira vari kuproportional representative kumadzimai, uyezve nevamwe vachamira vari kuyouth quarter. Muchitungwiza chirongwa ichi chafamba zvakanaka chose muri Nyararo, apo patisina kumboona mhirizhonga pakati pevatsigiri veCCC. Vatsigiri veCCC vauya neuwandu hwavo, izvo zvaita kuti kune dzimwe nzvimbo process iyi inonoke kupera, nokuti vanhu vanga vachiuya vakawanda zvekurevesa. Asi kune dzimwewo nzvimbo dziri outside Harare, kwakafanana nekuchikanga kwaMutare, tanzwa kuti ikoko process dzanga dzichidisturbiwa nemapurisa avo vanga vachirambidza vanhu veCCC kuti vaite chirongwa chavo chekusarudza vamiriri vavo. Kozoitawo kuward 5 ku St Mary's Tungwiza,
I don't know whether Barbara is speaking or not.
vatsigiri
veCCC a misconnection.
pavanga vachiitira program yavo panonzi pacrash polling station, vakanovaisa panzvimbo imwewo inova nzvimbo yakamanikidzikana, kachitarisa kuti vanhu vanga vauya vanga vakawanda zvakaita sei. Ndichitaura ndiri muno muHarare, ndini wenyu mutori wenhau paChange Radio, Stephen Chuma.
Yes, that was Change Radio correspondent from Chitungwiza Chief Stephen Sakos Chuma, who was telling us about the processes in Chitungwiza, that they went well because he was there from the start up to the end of the program. So he was simply telling us that it went very well in Chitungwiza. Thank you.
And we still have more audios and more videos from other correspondences. We're going to go ahead and play at least two of them, and then we'll get to Advocate Mahere's case.
Nchinoi process yafamba zvakanakisa zvikuru zvekuti vanhu vese vari kufara. Hapana kuitika mhirizhonga, zvinhu zvekuti donzvo rapurezidendi vedu chamisa vakaona remugwazo rasimbaradzwa zvikuru nekuti vanhu vabuda neuwandu hwavo, vanhu macitizens afara kuti apiwa mukana wekusarudza vanhu vavanoda, ekusarudza manominees avanoda kuti arepresente kuparliament, presidential nekucouncil nekumasenatorials nekwese kumapiara every inenge position. Vanhu vanga vachifarira chirongwa ichi nekuti vaona vachipiwa mukana usiku kuZanu Pf wekuti vanhu vanombunyikidzwa vachinzi vanosarudza munhu ari kuda. Saka vanhu vemacitizens afara zvikuru nekuti vese vatange tichiona vanga vachiratidza kufara kuti vapiwa mukana hanzi usiku kuZanu Pf. Usimu usina izvi vainga vachizvitora sezvinhu zvisina kumbobvira zvaitwa muZimbabwe, zvekuti vanhu vari kudiwa nevanhu ndivo vanoendeswa kumberi, vanhu vari kudiwa nevanhu ndivo vanoita vanosarudzwa, kuti vanhu vanofanirwa kubva kuvanhu kwete vanhu vanobva kuti vauye vazoiti isusu tikuda. Pane zvimwe taona chizaruriko chekuti vanhu vanosarudzwa nekuda kwemabasa avo, nekuda kwekuti zvavanoita in the community, kuti mabatsiro avanoita vanhu nekuzvavanoitira vanhu, zvinhu izvozvo zvaita kuti vanhu vasarudze munhu wavanoda zvisina kumbunyikidzwa, zvisina kutyisidzirwa, zvisina kuita sei. Saka zvinhu zvaratidza kuti ndozvafadza vanhu vemuchinhoi. Vanhu vemuchinhoi vari kufara nethe process. Infact makonde cluster yese yange ichiratidza kuti vari kufara. Mariposi atiri kuwana ari kuratidza kuti zvinhu zvabudirira pasina mhirizhonga, pasina kupikisana, pasina kupokana. Vanhu vanga vachingofara nekuti this is a big.
Nhasi bato reCitizens Coalition for Change CCC ranga rine urongwa
Yes, that was our report from Masvingo. I don't know what's happening there. The report from Masvingo, they were telling us that the process went on very well. This is what happens when you involve citizens, you involve the people in choosing their own leaders. Like I said before, Chief, most people that are going to complain are those that are seeking employment. I think you even heard the audio from that lady from Bulawayo to say, generally, truly speaking, to those that seek change, the process in Bulawayo was very, very good. And also we heard from Masvingo, from Chinoi, the people chose their leaders, they chose whom they want. But kune avo vanoda, tichanzwa zvakawanda kuti vanoda ndio vachange vachikomplaina kuti aiwa hazvina kufamba zvakanaka, because they think kuti ivo CCC is an employment agency where they're supposed to be to get employment. No, people want to choose leaders that are going to 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 to, to represent them in council and in parliament. Here, Chief, we are going to choose people that are going to work with President Nelson Chamisa in the new Zimbabwe. And also, the most good thing is most President Chamisa was also being nominated, and he got a lot of nominations. I'm not yet sure. I heard Kuti Weshman Ncube was also nominated, and I said to myself, this is democracy. If that's true, then that's democracy. He's got the right to stand. If he wants to be the president of CCC, there's nothing that can bar him from being the president of the CCC. That's democracy. That's what democracy entails, isn't it, Chief?
Yes, that's we are witnessing today the epitome of democracy. People being given a chance to choose their leaders, and as you rightly said, Barbara, even the post of presidents was up there. People were allowed to nominate any leader that they wanted, but reports are saying President Chamisa was nominated, overwhelmingly. I haven't heard about Vice President, interim Vice President Welshman Ncube, but if he was nominated, so be it. That's how it is. That's politics. That's democracy. That's what we are fighting for. And I can tell you, there are some people who would want to go out there and try to defend President Chamisa or stand in for him. He doesn't even want that. He actually wants to see this democracy that is prevailing where other people are nominated. So. If that happened, then it's a welcome development. But I can tell you that the people are happy about what happened today. They elected their leaders, or they nominated their leaders. Remember, there is someone who is here who is. Yeah, sorry, there was a call that came in, and I was trying to cut it off. So I was saying, someone here sent me a message saying, "Chief, can you please send me the list of background noise, Barbara? Leo, can you please mute Barbara? Thank you. So someone has already sent a message saying he wants me to send him a list of the nominated members of parliament and councillors. That list is not there. That list does not exist at the moment, because what was happening today was nominations of various leaders that were wanted by the people, not who wanted. So people are people. It's a democratic process. They nominated many people. There were places where more than 5 people were nominated for one place. Some even as many as 8 people being nominated for one position. So that's what we expected, because these leaders are coming from people. These nominations are coming from people. Uyu anoda waka, vanoda vava, vanoda uyo, But now those names will now go through a process of vetting and security checking, and I think that's a process that is common everywhere in any organization. You have to go through that. Here in America, you have to go through what they call background check before you can be given a job. It doesn't matter how qualified you are. You might have a PhD, you might have 2 master's degrees, but you still have to go the process of a background check to see whether you don't have any baggage that can damage the name of the organization or the people that you are representing. So that's where we are going now. So there is no list. There is no one today who can say there is someone who has been nominated. You can't say that. I know there are results that have been circulated apparently from Chinhoyi and from Kariba, those results are not authentic. They are being circulated by FAS, Maferet Aya. They are being circulated by CIOs. As we reported earlier, CIOs were there. Zanu Pf was there at our process, and they were monitoring, and they were taking pictures, they were taking videos, because this was an open process where people were coming in, citizens were just coming in. So it was always prone to being manipulated or infiltrated like that. And that's the reason why, the wisdom of the party leadership said we should have security checks for everyone, just in case a few names got through the process of nomination that were not supposed to be nominated. Vachabviswa ipapo, vachanokandirwa huko ipapo. But anyway, moving on, talking about the story of the day today, another big story that happened today. We saw Champion Fadzai Mahere, being arraigned before the court, and she was found guilty of a very frivolous charge. I wish we had one of our lawyers who can come here and explain what happened. But this was a very, insignificant, a very frivolous charge, and she was found guilty, and she was fined to, I think, 3 months in jail, and there was an option of a fine of $500, which I think by now Champion Father Mahere has already paid. But we want to talk about the implications. We want to talk about the story behind the story, what Zanu Pf is trying to do, what they are trying to get at. Why did they convict Champion Fadzai Mahere on a charge that does not even exist, whose law, the law that doesn't even exist anywhere in our constitution. It's not there. She was not even supposed to be convicted. I don't know this judge where he did his law from, or he was just told you need to find a guilt today. You need to find a guilt today, because that's how captured our courts are. That's how captured our institutions are, which is very sad. So we condemn what happened today, and will not celebrate that Champion Father Mahere is not in jail or was not given a jail term. There is nothing to celebrate, because she was not guilty in the first place. She was not supposed to be in court. She was not even supposed to be convicted, because she did not commit any crime. So what happened today was a big travesty of justice. Barbara, the conviction of Champion Fadzai Mahere, how angry were you today?
Oh, you don't even know, Chief, how angry I was. I didn't even expect that. I didn't even see that coming. When I was speaking to her in the morning, when she said she was going to court, I simply said to her, it is well, my leader. I wish you the best in the nomination process. I didn't know that she was going to be convicted. And when I heard that she paid a fine of $500, I said, well, it's good that she's out of jail, because the prisons in Zimbabwe, our prisons, they are so filthy, Chief. They are not even fit for habitation by human beings. So I said, at least she's out of jail. But I was not personally, I was not happy, because payment of a fine, it means admission of guilt, and Mahere is not guilty. She's very, very innocent. We've got people, I've got criminals that are walking scot free, including the president of Zanu Pf himself, Emerson Mnangagwa. He is the first criminal, but he's there. And Mahere is for Mahere to be called a criminal, for Mahere to be convicted of that frivolous charge, Chief, as you said. It's so absurd. And these are the signs, Chief, of the last kicks of a dying horse, Zanu Pf yapererwa. I always
Abra, sorry. It looks like Advocate Mahere is with us now, and I know you'll be wanting to go back to work. Do you want to allow, just welcome him?
Yes, thank you so much, Chief. I would give him the opportunity to speak to us. We want to hear from the law perspective to what does this mean to Mahere, what does this mean to us, and what does he think about the courts, and basically we want to hear from our learned lawyer, Comrade Kenneth Mahere. Welcome to our program, Comrade Mahere. We were just analyzing the processes, the nomination processes, where in most places it went on very well. So we are now talking about Champion Mahere's case. Over to you, Advocate Mahere. Thank you so much for joining us.
I was talking to myself. Thank you very much, Champion. This is quite sad, what happened today. It's a sad development in the legal fraternity. It's also a sad development in the jurisprudence of the law in Zimbabwe, which does not in any way inspire confidence in the citizens. The case is a case of muffling free speech. It's also a case of political persecution. It's a case of legal, what can I say? Legal, exposing the legal inadequacies in our system, which has got loopholes or gaps that leave spaces and opportunities for political manipulation by certain elements that want to persecute political activists like Advocate Mahere. It's quite sad that we have a conviction coming out of a law that is said not to exist in our statutes. It's also said that we do have precedents in similar circumstances where the High Court is actually looked into these cases, and it's so sad that we do have precedents, as I said, and I think Hopo actually had a similar case that was brought before the High Court, and the case had pretty much the same facts, and the law was actually pretty much interpreted. And one would think that at the magistrate court they would read these things, but it's clear that we do have presiding officers who clearly are not well accustomed to precedents from superior courts. And as you see, I know this will probably get me in trouble because I still practice in Zimbabwe. As you see, magistrate courts have somehow become a haven for political manipulation and political persecution of activists. If you note that even if you are to do even statistically the number of convictions that have been overturned in the High Court, that should not have been actually been convictions at all. It's surprising. And if you go back and see what kind of cases those are pretty much cases that have to deal with the political activists. So one would want to question, like, is there a problem with the system at the magistrate court, or there is a problem with the people, the magistrates at the magistrate court? Because clearly a whole magistrate with all those experience, the experience of the law and presiding over various cases, they cannot clearly miss a judgment from the High Court? Is it a case where these people are not being, taken through refresher courses of the law, or it's something else, or we just have political activists acting as judges or acting as magistrates at the magistrate court? It's so sad. It's so sad. It's so sad that one has to bear the brand of being persecuted and taken through the courts and taken through the remand courts and being incarcerated for so long, only to be convicted. And after this conviction, go through the same process, going through the high courts, appealing, and so forth, and then getting acquitted. This is so sad. This like one would then probably want to ask, like, why is this happening? Is what Chief has said. We see that we have the elections coming in pretty much in a few months, and Africa Mahere, she's a spokesperson of the CCC, a very vibrant young lady who has proven that she has all the leadership qualities it takes to make it into parliament. Probably one would want to think this conviction is actually coming at a time where someone thinks that her being convicted might stop her from contesting in the upcoming elections. But of course, this is a misplaced strategy, because the lawyers, I know right now they are sorry, just yes. So I mean, like, the lawyers right now. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, you can go ahead, advocate. You are answering a question that we are about to ask you. Does it affect your work, or does it affect the run for a parliamentary seat? So you're just checking that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. So pretty much, this case, given the circumstances, and also given that it's a conviction that is coming, through what I can say, a law that has just been plucked out of the air, which does not exist in our books. It's something that is going to be challenged by the lawyers. It's also something that is grounds for appeal by the lawyers. So right now, I can probably say the lawyers are pretty much, up trying to draft an appeal in the High Court. And once an appeal has been lodged, it pretty much suspends the conviction. So going forward, there is no conviction yet. If that appeal is successful, like if they launch the appeal, it pretty much suspends, the conviction, and everything just goes into a situation where it's just level. So nothing stops her from contesting the elections, because pretty much there's an appeal in the High Court, and the conviction has been suspended, and until a time when she's now convicted by the High Court, that's when probably it can probably reinstate the conviction, and also at that time, I believe, given that this law is said not to exist, it can also be an issue of an appeal, and also be an issue that is constitutional. Is that pretty much, one cannot be convicted by, as I said, by a law that does not exist. That is a constitutional issue where the right of the accused person is being violated through the courts. So yeah, I think the lawyers will probably come up with some argument that might raise constitutional issues that will deal with these issues. And also, when it comes to, I know some people were concerned about, so she's our lawyer and she's our advocate. What will happen to her practice? As I said, this conviction is political, and no law society or any member in the law society would want to think that this issue can be an issue which demands some sort of disbarment or discipline and so forth. Because as the law society itself, I think right now it should be trying to find ways of dealing with such rampant and unjustified convictions coming from the magistrate courts, which in itself does not only affect the does not only affect, how magistrates are viewed, but also affects how the legal profession itself is viewed by the members of the public. So I believe that probably the Law Society right now might be, working to probably engage the Judicial Service Commission to probably look into these issues where, we have convictions coming out where probably, the law does not exist. And I think, these things should just stop, especially when it comes to the magistrate court. Because right now we do have elections coming, and we can foresee, as my experience before, in elections in Zimbabwe, this period you see a lot of cases coming to the magistrate court, and most of these cases will involve, political issues, be it political violence, or intimidation, whatever the case may be. And to see that you have magistrates who are already taking sides before even the elections start, it's so worrisome. And this should not surprise people. Right now, we have Advocate Scala in prison, and he has spent so many months in prison. And which court is actually, ruling him right now? It's the magistrate court. This very same court, in the Rotten Row. So it's quite sad that we do have such signs coming out of a judiciary department that should be the anchor of trying to deliver justice to ordinary citizens. And it's so sad that, as we think of a new Zimbabwe, we should also probably think of a new justice system, and probably, uproot any elements within the system who probably facilitate, the continuation of impunity, the continuation of persecution of ordinary citizens, and also who tarnish our image as the legal profession. So, Chief, in short, I would say probably this is what I can say about this development.
And before you go, okay, go ahead, Barbara. Honor
Okay,
ladies.
I thank you so much, Chief. I want to ask Advocate Mahere, what does the Constitution say about this issue of conviction? I know you said she will appeal, but what does it say? The type of conviction that is considered or that disqualifies somebody who wants to stand in as an MP or as a councillor. What does the Constitution say? Because I heard some other people saying 3 months does not warrant for one to be disqualified to be an MP. I tried to look for that section because I had no time to look for that section in the Constitution, but I just wanted to ask whether you can maybe tell us on that the section that speaks to the issue of one being disqualified as an MP.
Yes, definitely. The Constitution does say that if one has got a conviction, in the courts, which I think I'll have to probably, as we talk, probably look into that and tell you verbatim. But it does talk. It does talk about convictions in the and also given these circumstances, the conviction has to be at least final. And in this situation, we are definitely going to come. An appeal is going to be launched, and when an appeal is launched, then it will suspend that conviction and sentence. Yeah. So pretty much she will be like as if nothing happened. So those issues that will be dealt with as we take this conviction, challenge that conviction in the court. Those are separate issues, though. But once the appeal has been launched, it suspends the conviction and sentence.
Okay.
The judgment and sentence, yes. But I'll probably circle back and probably take you through the section itself in the
Okay.
context as you asked.
Okay, thank
Right, advocate. You talked about the magistrates court maybe being a bit corrupt. What would you say about this judgment? Was it a question of a judge not having gone through? Because he talked about whether he had read his papers well. Do you think it's a question of someone misunderstanding the law, not reading the statutes well, or maybe kunyepera kuzungaira, kunyepera kusaziva, or it's a question of command jurisdiction that maybe magistrates are being told what to do by the executive?
Yes, Chief, that question is a good question that demands an answer that will get me in trouble and probably not come to trouble again, right? But I'll answer it this way. In this case, what I would say is that the magistrate misdirected himself. There are some situations where someone just sits there and presides over a case and starts to hear things that are not there. And at the end of the day, misdirect himself in the judgment. I wouldn't want to say this particular judge, or this particular magistrate did not act, in fact, I wouldn't want to say someone forced him to write that judgment that way, of which I wouldn't want to say someone did not force him to write that judgment that way. But I would say that in this situation, the magistrate did go through the trial and erroneously found, Advocate Mahere guilty and did not take into consideration the law itself as it exists, did not take into consideration the precedents from other from superior court like the High Court, and also did not take into consideration the circumstances surrounding elements of free speech in Zimbabwe and elements that Advocate Mahere herself is a politician and so forth. I just read a glimpse of the judgment, which was saying that at least Advocate Faiza Mahere as a lawyer should have verified the facts before she posted on Twitter. That cannot be something that is intelligent to say in a judgment, because the facts are there that this case was already in the public domain. The facts are there that even other publications in Zimbabwe had picked up that story and said that the police had killed that child. Whether Advocate Mahere knew about that or not, this issue was already in the public domain. And whether the fact that Advocate Mahere posted that should not be something that can now be quoted in a judgment, saying that she should have known better not to post that because she's a legal practitioner and so forth. That is not a level that can pretty much take away all the issues regarding the elements of that crime, because the elements of that crime should be proscribed in a statute. They should be proscribed in law and not be manufactured in a court of law. And basically, we want, just to go back to your answer, probably a citizen like yourself would not fault, would not be found at fault if you say that probably the magistrate had an agenda in convicting her, because such things do not inspire confidence in ordinary citizens, and it does not inspire confidence in people who would want to seek justice in these lower courts. So, Chief, just to answer your question, yes, you will not be faulted to say that probably there were politics at play when this judgment was passed down. But as a lawyer, I would not say that. I would say the magistrate misdirected herself or himself in passing this judgment.
Wow, I like the way you play around with words. When I grow up, I want to be a lawyer. Yeah. Let me say it in kuti zvokutaurwa naadvocate panapa vari kutaura kuti vanhu vari kuudzwa zvekuita mamagistrates ekulower court yedu iyi magistrate court paroton row pari roton like that, they are being told what to do. But this is not advocate saying, this is me saying, but I don't want to get you in trouble. But this is another way, another form of command legislation, and it speaks to what we have been talking about, that our institutions are captured. The courts are captured, the magistrate court, especially the police also captured. Not all the police, of course. There are some very bad apples within our police force, and of course, not all the magistrates. There are also some magistrates that are doing well, but there are some very, very bad magistrates, some very bad apples among those good ones. Barbara, as we round up, we want to give Advocate Mahere, the last opportunity to talk about this issue, and then we round up with our main story of the day, the successful candidate selection process. Advocate Mahere, if you have anything to say before you leave, you can go ahead.
Yes, probably. Just give me a second. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barbara, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Chief. You know what? What I wanted to say is, as we close this program, is the way Mnangagwa operates is just the same as the way Smith operated. We know very well our history, Chief. We have liberation war heroes, the living and the dead, who spent a lot of years in prison without being tried. And without even committing any crimes, their cases, their crimes were political. So Shandisa Slate Smith, and that's the reason why you are saying we are not independent. So once they will be celebrating independence, we will be actually demonstrating to say we are not independent. We are not independent at all, because our people are suffering. The opposition is suffering. The lawyers are suffering. The teachers are suffering. I'm told Obed Masaraure is back in prison, and he is back in custody. Obed Masaraure. So, today was a dark day for us, for freedom fighters. Everyone is just in trouble. Musicians are in trouble. Doctors are in trouble. Nurses are in trouble. Teachers are in trouble. Chief, every one of us are in trouble. So what do we do when every one of us are in trouble? This needs in a way to rethink. Those people vanogara vari pasocial media vachiteerera zvemumakuwa anoitwa pasocial media. It's high time people should stop entertaining those people who derail, or maybe who divert your focus. We know there's this gold mafia, but the whole week people were glued makuwa ana maitititi vachita sei vachitukana vachita sei. This is the Zanu Pf strategy, guys. So guys, stop going there. Imimi, let's focus, eyes on the ball. And those that are in the UK, 18th April, we are going to demonstrate. And we are not free. It's not our independence. Is their independence, the gold mafia independence, is not our independence. So we are not going to go to the gold mafia independence because we are not independent. So let's go in our numbers and show the world that Isusu, we are not happy. We might be in this country, we might be in diaspora, but we are not happy. We don't want to stay here. We don't want to live here. We want to go back to Zimbabwe. So we have to fix things from wherever we are. Every one of us, Chief, let's act and stop. Even my shows, let's boycott there. Please don't go there. Kuma shows here promoting muchipromota vanhu the enablers of this human rights violation, enablers of these dictators. Instead of giving vanhu vari kutambura mari kuzimbabwe, you busy, you want to give vana maititi nana holy 10 mari, what for?
Yes, thank you very much, Barbara. I'll come to that because I really want to talk about that. Advocate Masia, if you are ready, you can go ahead. Your closing remarks.
Yes. So the closing remarks basically are that this judgment is not like, it's not coincidence that it's coming at a time when there were threats against lawyers, threats against citizens, or for speaking bad against the country. We know that there have been threats going around by some politicians that want to gag citizens from criticizing the government, criticizing the police, or even criticizing ordinary Zanu Pf members. So basically, to also conclude, I just had the sweep of the Constitution, and the Constitution pretty much talks about a conviction under the Electoral Act, and it talks about it does not say pretty much about any other ordinary conviction, and this conviction itself does not basically make Advocate Father Mahere ineligible as a voter. She still has to, she can still vote in the next elections, and one of the requirements for someone to to contest in a House of Parliament, for a House of Parliament seat, is that they have to be an eligible voter. So pretty much the conviction does not disqualify as a voter. It does not disqualify from contesting in the upcoming elections, and even if it did with another interpretation, people can interpret the law however they deem. But I'm just looking at the provision within the Constitution, and specifically Schedule 4 of the Constitution, that talks about disqualifications of anyone to hold a seat in Parliament. It pretty much says that that person has to be convicted under the Electoral Act, and also it also says that a person is disqualified from contesting for a House of Assembly seat if they were removed as an MP because of a conviction. So that is the ground so far. But as we said, there's going to be an appeal. I think that is pretty much obvious. There's going to be an appeal of this case, and this case is going to be heard by a superior court. And we are hopeful, or at least I am hopeful, that an acquittal will be on its way. And again, just to say, I don't know if it was me. Upon looking at the facts, and because this is a perennial thing happening, especially in the magistrate courts, I think as citizens, this is the time probably to now take stock of all those convictions or all those cases that are passing through the magistrate courts, and do an analysis of why these things continue to happen, because we cannot have a rogue institution or a rogue department within the judiciary system, which, when it just looks at the politics, it then just convicts. So we need to then look into the people who are doing that, especially if they are magistrates, and if they are compromised, then it means that they should not sit on that bench as magistrates. And the Constitution pretty much clearly says that you can literally sue a judicial officer, a magistrate specifically, if they acted contrary to their duties or roles as a magistrate, especially if the judgment is so glaringly, so much, clear that it doesn't have anything to do with the law. Then you can pretty much, go for that particular judicial officer. That is in the Constitution of Zimbabwe. But of course, that one is pretty much probably difficult, because they usually have a way of trying to clothe the judgment using certain arguments, which seem to then think that probably munhu ari kunyembedzera kudzungaira handiti, but achida kushandisa mutemo kuti angoconvicta zviende mberi, so that the High Court can then deal with those issues. But as citizens, I think it's time for us to then use data, to use analysis, and pretty much see where the problem is. If it's the problem is the magistrate, it's time to use those certain provisions to literally go for those people who use the law to weaponize, who weaponize the law on behalf of Zanu Pf. So thank you, Chief, for this opportunity. Anytime, Chief, just get hold of me. I will probably come in for these serious issues. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Advocate Mahere, for clarifying all those complicated legal issues. We appreciate you. You're always there. Yes, as we finish, as we round up, let's go on the lighter side. We don't want to live on the gloom side. On the lighter side, when everything that is happening and when something happens, there's always a lighter side. There's always the other side that we need to look at, the positive side of all these illegal arrests that Zanu Pf is doing. You can tell that this is a regime that is panicking. This is a regime that is so afraid of our citizens that they are doing everything and anything to make sure that they're doing everything and anything to make sure that they win the election. They are doing all this so that they retain power by all means, by hook or crook. The arrest of Father Mahere today, what they are doing to Honorable Job Scala, all those are signs of a regime that is so afraid. They are quacking right now. Varikutochka. So my parting words to you is: do not see a Zanu Pf that is insurmountable, a Zanu Pf that we cannot reach to. See a Zanu Pf, Kazanu Pf, not a Zanu Pf, Kazanu Pf kari kutokwata, in Father Mahere's words, kuti vari kukwata. Wona Zanu Pf iri kutokwata, iri kutya, iri kutozviona kuti panapa inopera pama-elections ari kuuya. So what do? They resort to their default. Their default is always violence. Their default is intimidation. They're doing all these things so that they silence people. Lawyers don't talk. Citizens don't talk. Anyone doesn't talk because the message has been sent that if you talk, if you speak out, if you say anything, even on social media, we're going to come out after you. That's the message that they are sending. But do not see that. See a Zanu Pf that is just afraid. A Zanu Pf that is, kicking, the last kicks. These are the last kicks of a dying horse. So what do we do as citizens in that case? We push on. We dig in. We act. We do what we need to do as citizens. Do something. We are in UK. There's a demonstration that Barbara was talking about. Make sure you attend that demonstration. If you're not planning to attend it, really what happened today to Champion Father Mahere should be an invitation for you to attend that demonstration. What is happening in Zimbabwe should be something that encourages you, that inspire someone to do more in this struggle. I know we are already doing something. Most people here that are listening, I'm preaching to the converted. I'm preaching to the choir. You're already doing something. But the key word is do more. Do more. If you have not attended a demo before, make sure you plan on attending the next demo that is coming. If you have never donated money to the struggle, start donating now. If you have been donating, double that amount. If you have been giving $500 a month, start giving $1,000 a month. If you have been giving $100, double that to $200, because that's the only way we are going to stop Zanu Pf. Everyone else playing their part, every Zimbabwean doing what they need to do, working as citizens, and fighting as citizens. So let's do that, champions. Let's attend the demonstration in UK, in America. I know they're also planning something in South Africa, in Zambia. There's action that is being planned. Do something. Don't just not do anything. Not doing anything is not an option. Thank you so much, those who were here with us the past 1.5 hours. We appreciate you. We'll be here again with other programs. We'll meet in other programs tomorrow as we give you updates of the process that has been going on. We thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you, Leo, behind the scenes, Champion Barbara, Advocate Mahere, who joined us. Thank you. Good night. Goodbye. Chief Shoshe signing off.